Everybody, welcome to Funeral Nation episode 101. I'm Ryan Thogmartin. That is Jeff, the Funeral Commander Harbison. That is Mr. Chris Farmer, and this is a Changemakers episode.
What payment method do you prefer families use for your goods and services? Most funeral homes and cemeteries prefer cash check or credit card over life insurance as the preferred method of payment. However, families who use life insurance are able to purchase the funeral service of their choice and spend 31% more on your goods and services. By encouraging more families to pay with insurance, you can create a better experience for the family and become more profitable without increasing your call volume. The reason most firms prefer cash check or credit card over life insurance is that insurance companies are a hassle to deal with, and payment can often take weeks or months to receive. With C&J Financial, you can receive funding within 24 hours of verification of benefit, thereby eliminating the hassle, headache, and cash flow delay in processing insurance death claims. Let us show you why hundreds of funeral homes all across America choose C&J for their assignment funding needs, and why many associations, accounting firms, and industry leaders recommend C&J to their clients and members.
Yeah, we've got something special today. Chris, you've been working on this TerraCycle lawsuit that's coming up, and it's a pretty big deal. So it's getting ready to close as far as people getting into it. Would you give us a quick update of what's going on?
Sure, absolutely. As kind of we talked about before, and just so if you don't know, there was a class action lawsuit that was certified against TerraCycle, who is a biomedical waste disposal company. And it was for TerraCycle's business practices of, they had a fixed price contract. Ironically, they called it the TerraSafe contract, but they had a 18% price increase that was pre-coded in their billing contract or in their billing system. Correct. So even though it was a fixed price contract, your rates were going to increase dramatically over time. And those increases would have happened anywhere from every quarter to every 6 months to 12 months. I have had some clients who started off paying $130, and then for the same volume, their last bill was $5,000 for 1 month. For people who maybe not as closely monitoring their invoices, they just kept rising and kept climbing. And sometimes it's hard to understand, you know, whenever you're running the business, whether it's a change in volume that's making the difference or whether it's the rates increasing. They would also tack on fees for services they didn't charge, and there was a bunch of allegations around it. So that class certified, and the class action settlement was agreed to by the representative class counsel and TerraCycle. And based on our calculations, class members would receive approximately 20% of the amount that they were overcharged. And that accounts for some of the factors where TerraCycle said, look, our costs truly did increase. We had fuel costs, we had all these other costs. So therefore, even though it's a fixed price, we could, under the contract, increase. So those are some of the defenses that TerraCycle had. So coming up on Monday, the 22nd, is the deadline for members of the class to opt out of the class and say, no, thank you, I don't want to be a part of this class. I'd like to bring my, and then they would still retain the right to bring their claims on their own.
Yeah, is this, would this be considered one of the largest collective legal matters we've seen in the U.S.?
You know, when it comes to our industry, this is as large as I am familiar with. And what's interesting about this is the funeral service industry is actually a very small segment of this class. If you look at the class definition and some of this in the filings, funeral service isn't even mentioned in there. But for us, from what I observed, TerraCycle is probably the biggest vendor when it comes to biomedical waste in the U.S. Some places don't even have an option other than TerraCycle because they do a lot of roll-ups and consolidation. So they'll go in and buy the local bigwig, and then they just keep rolling up and rolling. So in fact, TerraCycle's market cap is even bigger than STI's, if you can give that perspective on how big TerraCycle is. So most of their clients are going to be hospitals, dentist office, medical offices, those kind of things. And so that's why we wanted to bring a group of funeral service specific clients to bring claims against TerraCycle directly, because it wasn't getting the attention of the class. It wasn't a focus of the class. And we want to make sure that those in funeral service are getting their due and having fair representation and being able to bring the claims directly to TerraCycle. So we've advised our clients that have signed up with us to opt out of the class. We've been in conversation with TerraCycle's counsel and we'll bring our claims directly to TerraCycle, because the class itself still faces a lot of challenges. There could be procedural challenges. I think there's a number that was agreed to, but it hasn't been disclosed as far as if so many people opt out of the class, then the whole settlement's blown up. And then, of course, there will be, more than likely, there will be appeals. In our experience, that sometimes these appeals can go on forever. It seems like, I mean, we've seen cases where there's class settlements and everyone's on board, and then there's an appeal to it and it'll go on for years. So we're hoping by opting out, we're going to give our clients an opportunity to get more money and sooner than just staying in the class.
Well, that's we appreciate you coming on, because this is something that is a national for everybody. However, it's not in the news that we see typically. Mm-hmm. So Ryan and I here with Funeral Nation, we certainly want to keep up with it. And as it progresses, if you'll let us know, we'd like to have you back as a guest just to share, because this is a change-making event in our industry. I think this is the beginning. We're going to see some other issues coming along with billing, pricing. We're not done here yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
This group we may be, but I think there's some other stuff coming along.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's funny because, you know, you and Ryan and I, we serve the funeral industry the same way that the funeral service industry serves families. We serve them, and so it's a constant battle for us to stay on top of, you know, what's going on in the industry. And I know you guys do such a great job of being able to keep it informed. And I know you're the resource for most people I know to find out what's going on in the industry. So keep up that good work and keep on keeping everybody informed.
Hey, you too, man. You're a change maker. So we appreciate you coming on. Ryan, you want to close us up?
Yes. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. That was episode 101. We'll have something crazy for 102 next week. Until next time, have a great effing week.
Out here.
Funeral Nation is sponsored by Sitch Casket. Sitch has changed everything for funeral homes facing declining profits from cremation, with casket quality equal to the top domestic brands but at half the cost or better. Enter now to win a free Sitch casket at sitchcasket.com. Sitch, only your accountant can tell the difference.